Okay, so hi everyone, welcome you all in our course data analysis using RProgramming. And today we are on session 13 and we are going to discuss about looping statements. Okay, so first of all, we should understand what exactly meaning of looping statements. Okay, so yeah, before starting today's sessions, let me give a little recap what we have covered in our previous class so that everyone will be on the same page. So in our previous class we had introduced with our data structure. Firstly we introduced with the data types, then data structure, and after that we covered about what are the different method. Based on that we were reading our data. Okay, and after that we show that the different methods. Okay, based on that we can take the data into our R environment so that we can perform our statistical analysis into those data. Okay, and also we touched upon like how we will control our program. Like we applied the conditional statements. So in the conditional statements, you guys probably seen that whenever we are having any condition, and based on that particular condition we are having some output, that type of statements is called as conditional statement. So in our R programming we have multiple types of our conditional statements. So we do have simple conditional statement. Over there we are having only one condition, and based on that condition we are having some output. Similarly, we can have if then else statements. So if and else statement is basically telling you about that if you are having a condition, and if the condition is meeting, then you will have some different output, and if the condition is not meeting, then also you are having some different output. So at that time you are applying if and else condition. So you need to specify condition into the if statement, and after that you open the scope of this particular condition and you are writing some operation into this. Okay, similarly you have one condition and you have more than one conditions. Sometimes you have many conditions and all the conditions are required to be proved just to have a particular outcome. So for example, if you are from any specific country, okay, or maybe you have example like you have condition 1, condition 2, condition 3, and all three conditions are required to be success of the trial. Okay, then we should to arrange those conditional statements using and symbol. Okay, so and symbol is telling you about that all the conditions are very much all the conditions are important, okay, to just prove one result. Sometimes you know that if you are having at least one of the conditions true, okay, then you will have some action on that, right? So this is called as multiple conditions, but among them any one of the condition is true, then you will consider that this event is success. Okay, so now in also you saw hierarchical conditional statements. Over there what you are seeing that in terms of hierarchy, firstly you have some conditions, and if that particular condition meeting, then you are entering into some different condition, and if that condition was also meeting, then only you are entering to the some output, right? So this is called as hierarchical conditional statements. So in today's class we are going ahead with the programming topic. Okay, and today's topic is looping in R programming. So before starting today's topic, let me introduce about this topic, what exactly means of looping. Okay, so probably everyone definitely seen kind of a loop. Okay, you know about the concept of loop, that a simple thing is there, like a spring you are having. Okay, and in this type of spring is there. Okay, so this is starting from here and same type it is just replicating continuously multiple times. Okay, and this is forming a loop. Okay, basically you saw these things into the electric circuits. Okay, but this is theory is little bit different in our programming concept. So looping means over here in the programming is just to repeat some specific type of task at a multiple times. Okay, so for example, like for example, if I tell you just print your name. Okay, print your name 10 times, print your name 10 times. So what you will apply, you will apply like print. Okay, like print and your name. Similarly you will again write print, and again you will write your name. Again you will write print, and again you will type your name, right? So this is the way that how you can get your names 10 times, right? But the problem actually with this particular type of thing is that you are writing a similar kind of code 10 times. Okay, suppose it is doable if it need to be replicated 10 times, but consider if I need to replicate these things at 1,000 times, right? Then it is very difficult to repeat 1,000 times. It means that you will not able to write, even it will be very difficult for you to write the 1,000 times this print statement, right? So this basically having some issues. Okay, this is not easy to do. That is why the concept of looping came into the picture. And in this particular concept, what basically we are doing, we are writing some specific type of codes, okay, some specific type of commands, and based on that only one print statement we will give, and this will be replicated 2,000 times. Okay, so why this can be doable using the looping? Because you know that over here you are seeing that the simple same thing is just replicating 3 times. Okay, all this is similar, the print statement is replicating 3 times. It means that you are performing the same job multiple times. Okay, what you are doing, you are performing same job at a multiple times, right? So you can introduce here the concept of looping thing, right? So how basically loop is working, so let me tell you about a flowchart how loop is working basically. Okay, so like in our previous sessions I introduced you about flowchart, so I will create a flowchart for the looping statement as well. Okay, so I will start. Okay, and after that I will take some input. Okay, so just for taking the input, you know that we need to write a rectangle over here. Okay, take input. Okay, and after that what basically you wanted to do is just a replication. Okay, just a replication. So how you will do the replication? So let's suppose you will, yeah, so here you will perform some operation, and that operation will lead to increment. Okay, increment. Loop increment. Okay, and after that it will go into this, and this will again connected with this, right? So in this way, and once the loop will be complete, okay, and if the condition is meeting, okay, now I will implement a condition over here. Maybe at this place I will implement a condition. Condition, and in this way you will implement it. Okay, and if the condition is meeting, okay, then yes, and if the condition is not meeting, okay, then it will close the program. It will close, or you can say stop the program, right? And once the program will be stopped, okay, then this will be also stopped. Okay, so this is a general structure, general flow chart, or you can say general program flow of the looping statement. So what basically we are doing here, we will just take the input. Okay, we will take the input. Okay, and once we will take the input, then it will go for performing some operation. Okay, and once some operation will be performed, then this loop will be increment. Okay, then again you will check the condition. If the condition is true, then it will come here, and again the same condition will be implemented and iterated. Okay, in this way you will see that the looping statement is working basically, right? So here basically what we are doing, we are replicating a similar kind of task at a multiple levels, right? So this is called as looping statement. So how many types of looping statements are generally available into our programming part? Okay, so in general we are having like three types of loop basically. Okay, first is that fixed iteration loop. Okay, fixed iteration loop. So what it means by fixed iteration loop, firstly understand this concept. Okay, so like for example, if you know that how many times you will replicate a particular operation. Okay, so like for example, if I tell you like just to print your name 20 times. Okay, so over here what I am doing is I am just fixing that just to print your name 20 times. It means that you need to replicate, okay, you need to replicate the process of printing the things 20 times. So over here you are bounded up with the number of times you need to replicate the things is 20 only. Okay, so here we are fix up this situation, and that is why we are calling this as a fixed iteration loop. Okay, so when number of iteration are fixed. Okay, so this is called as fixed iteration loop. Second is that entry controller loop. Second is entry control loop. So entry control loop, it this name is itself explaining about its nature. Okay, so entry control loop basically telling you about how to control a program. Okay, it means that when it will kind of it only replicates the operation. Okay, it only replicates the operation when it will test the condition initially. Okay, before it replicating the things, it will check the condition, and if the condition will be met, then it will enter into the loop and it will execute the condition multiple times, right? So what it will do, first check the condition and then enter into the loop. Okay, so what it will do basically, it will just check the condition initially, and if the condition is being true, then only it will enter into the loop, otherwise it will not replicate the process, right? So third type of loop is basically called as exit control loop. Exit control loop, right? So these there are just three types of loops are here. Okay, so exit control loop is basically a loop which is checking the condition at the time of exit. Okay, so for example, if you are just having a job, okay, so like you need to come to here, here to here. Okay, so in the entry control loop the condition will be checked over here, right? But in the exit control loop the condition will be checked over here, right? So what it means by uh, last of the program condition will be checked. Okay, so what the beautiful thing you are finding it out with this particular loop is, okay, so in the entry control loop, okay, so what in these two things if I'm talking about, okay, so entry control loop basically just checking the condition first, then it will start looping the things. Okay, but over here it will replicate at least once. Okay, once the operation will be performed, then after this condition will be tested, and if the condition will not met, then it will come out of this particular kind of a operation circle. Okay, so it means that it will always run one time. Okay, and it will not run anytime if condition is not meeting. Okay, so these are the difference between entry control loop and exit control loop, right? So you saw three types of loops are here in the general programming. So similarly in the R programming also we do have three types of loop, but the syntax of the last two loops is almost similar. Only the thing is that we are implementing the condition at our requirement basis. Okay, so for the fixed iteration loop in general programming languages we are having loop called as for loop, which is called as for loop. Yeah, please go ahead, George.
It's like I'm not seeing your screen. I only see your name showing.
Is it so?
I don't know if yes.
Uh, is it with Niri Yunus?
It's so that it's so the
His
name that
screen
is
is showing here. Probably is his network.
wow.
Okay, perfect. So I guess my screen is visible to Niri, right? Okay, perfect. Right. So I was just talking about the fixed iteration loop, how we can perform, what are the functions available in our R software for performing the fixed iteration loop. Okay. So we are having loop called for loop, okay, which is being performed at a fixed number of times, right? So this is called as fixed iteration loop. Similarly, in general programming, we are having called as do loop, okay, do loop. So do loop is basically a loop which is called as entry control loop. So entry control loop basically perform using the do loop. It means that in the do loop the condition will be checked initially. Condition will be checked at the start. Okay, do loop. But now in exit control loop we are having do while. Okay, do while. So do while is basically, if while is checking the condition, checking condition in the last. Okay, so three types of loop you saw here. One is for loop, one is do loop, another is do and while loop, right? So this is the general programming purpose we are using for. Now coming to the R programming. Okay, what the loop we are having. So in R programming we are having loop like while loop, and we are having for loop. Okay, so in the for loop you are performing fixed iteration, and while loop we are performing entry and exit control loop. Entry control loop. Okay, so these are the two loops. Now what are the syntax of those two things? Okay, so firstly I will tell you about by writing the syntax over here, and after that I will demonstrate these two things into our R software. Okay, so now what the syntax we are having for loop. Okay, so there are three components are there with the for loop is for I, okay, which is iteration, iterator basically, iterator in iteration, iterator in iteration. Okay, and you are having this type of symbol, okay, which is called as the bracket, okay, braces, and you are having some operations. Okay, how many operations you wanted to replicate, you need to specify those operations into this and you will close the loop. Okay, so this is the general structure of for loop. So what the important thing you need to focus upon over here into this particular syntax, first is iterator. Okay, iterator. Iterator is basically nothing but a driver. Okay, a driver which will drive the loop. Okay, which will drive the loop, right? So it means that this will move ahead. Okay, this will move ahead or backward. Okay, it will move ahead or backward, right? So this will basically a movable thing, it will just move ahead. Okay, it will move the things either in the kind of the kind of forward directions or maybe in the backward direction, right? Iterations. Now the second thing is iteration is defining the number of times, right? Number of times situation. Okay, that what the situations are there, how many times are there. Okay, vector. Okay, vector, right? So it will basically iterate, this iterator will iterate itself in this particular iterations, right? So for example, if I'm talking about iterator as I in 1 to 10. Okay, so here I is nothing but an iterator. Okay, and 1 to 10 is basically iteration, so I will replicate itself by 10 times. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10, right? So here I is serving the purpose is called as iterator, and this one colon 10, it means that this is nothing but a vector. Okay, and this vector serves the purpose of number of iteration. Okay, so here this I is nothing but an iteration, and this is nothing but called as an iterator, right? So this is the general syntax of R programming, for loop in R programming. Okay, so here what you are seeing, that for loop and iterator in number of iterations. Okay, so iterations can be anything. It may be the number of times, okay, number of situations, maybe a vector, right? So it can be of anything. So for example, if I'll write that for I in 1 I in 1 to 10, okay, and replicate print I. So what it will do, basically it will, I will take the value, okay, I will take the value from 1 to 10. Okay, so firstly when the loop will start, okay, so print I. So initially I will have the value as 1, right? So it will print the value 1. Okay, it will print the value 1. After that, automatically once the loop will close, and it will move here again. Now I will have value 2. Okay, so it will print the value 2. After that it will go ahead here again. Now it will have I is equal to 3. Okay, it will print 3. Similarly, I is equal to 4, it will print 4, right? So in this way this particular loop will work in our R programming. Okay, so this is called as fixed iteration loop. So what the fixed thing is over here, you are seeing that number of this thing, okay, iteration. So here we are seeing that iterations are fixed, and these iterations are nothing but 1 to 10. Okay, so this is called as fixed iteration loop, right? Now coming to the second kind of loop. Second loop is basically, the syntax for the second type of loop is while do loop, or you can say while loop. Okay, while loop. So while loop are serving the purpose of both. Okay, it is of entry control, and this is also serving the purpose for exit control loop. Okay, so how it will implement as a entry control loop, and how it will implemented as exit control loop, let me tell you. So what the syntax basically it is having, so while, okay, while this one particular condition you need to apply over here, and you need to just write the condition, write the operations, one, whatever the operations you are having, just you need to write it, right? So this is called as while loop. So what the important thing you are seeing over here, one thing is also there, is which is nothing but incremental or decremental. Okay, so it may be incremental or decremental. Okay, decremental. So it will either increment the loop or decrement the loop, right? Increment means just to increase the loop, decrement means just decrease the loop, right? So what basically we are serving here is, right? So firstly it will go with the condition. Okay, so if this condition will be true, okay, when this condition will be true, then this program will enter into this part, and this type of operation will be performed. And once this operation will be performed, once done, then it will increase the loop. Okay, once the loop will be increased, then it will come again here, right? Again it will check the condition. If the condition is true, okay, it will again go down and it will perform some operation. And if the operation will be done, then it will again increment or decrement. Okay, so after that it will again move ahead, and it will check the condition. If all the condition is being true continuously, right, then you will tell that this operation will be performed at a not a fixed number of times. This type of loop will be performed until this particular condition will be true. right? So when the loop condition, the loop will be it stopped when the particular condition will not able to meet. Okay, once this loop will be kind of a condition is not meeting, then automatically this loop will be turned off. Okay, and whatever the output are there, this output will automatically be printed. Okay, so this is, since here the iterations are not fixed, that is why we are not telling this as a fixed iteration loop. This is called as this is called as kind of a conditional loop. Okay, and this is only working for the based on some certain specific type of conditions, right? So now another type of loop is basically is called as repeat loop. repeat loop Repeat loop, right? So repeat loop, sorry, actually I missed one thing, I misleads here. This is basically third type of loop is there, which is called as repeat loop. Okay, and repeat loop is basically serving the purpose of entry control loop and exit control loop. Okay, how it is basically serving? Okay, let me tell you about. So repeat loop, basically the syntax of the repeat loop is, we need to write here this repeat, and we need to open the bracket. Okay, and whatever the statements are there, statement oblique operation. Okay, whatever the operation is there, you need to perform and you need to write the condition over here. After that, you will write a if condition over here. If, then condition. Okay, and if this particular condition will be true, right, then it will break the loop, and it will come out of this particular loop. So if condition can be applied in at any place, so if this condition will be applied in the last of the program, like currently it is. Okay, so this is called as exit control loop. But think, if I apply this particular thing over here, right, this statement will be come after this particular thing, right? So at that time, basically it will enter into the loop, then it will check the condition, and if the condition is true, then only it will start the executing those operations. Okay, so this particular repeat loop is just serving the two purpose. The first purpose is just to serve as an entry control loop, second is just to exit control loop. So if the condition, if condition is being applied in the top of this particular thing, then this will be served to the purpose of entry control loop. But if condition is being applied in the last of this particular thing, after the statement or operation, then this will be serving the purpose as exit control loop. Okay, so this is the syntax, general syntax we are having in our R programming. Let me write all those syntax over here, and after that I will start just framing the R program for that. For loop, right? So for the for loop, what we are having, for I in, okay, I in any vector. Okay, and you need to have this type of symbol, and here you need to write the operations. Whatever the operations you are performing, you need to perform, right? This is the general syntax for loop, and this is the while loop. Okay, so while loop, the syntax for the while loop is while, then condition, then operation. Okay, operations, and incrementer or decrementer. Okay, and after that it will close, right? So this is the while loop. And the third type of loop, as I show you the flow chart, so this is a repeat loop. Okay, so in the repeat loop, what you have seen, so in the you are having repeat, and this one, and operation, statements, then if, condition, then break, right? So this is nothing but exit control, right? Similarly, if you are having Similarly, if you are having like a repeat, and if condition, right, then break, right, then you are having some operation statements, right, and then this will be here. Firstly, here condition is checking into the last, okay, but here the condition is being checked into the start, right. So since the condition is being tested into the start of this particular program, that is why this is called as entry control loop. This is called as entry control loop. Okay, so you saw here three types of loops are here. First type of loop you saw, this is nothing but a for loop. Okay, so for loop is basically working as a fixed iteration loop, and after that you saw the two important components are there into the for loop. Is first is iterator, okay, which will actually derive this particular loop, and second is iteration. So iteration is basically number of times this particular loop will be performed. Okay, so this is called as iterations. So this is the general syntax we are following for the for loop. And after that you saw while loop. So while loop is basically serving the purpose, or you can say this is limitless loop. Okay, this is not a kind of a fixed iteration loop. This is dynamic iterations can be of number of any number of times, right. So like for example, it while loop will check the condition. If the condition will be true, then only it will enter and it will replicate itself, right. So this is not a fixed iteration loop. After that you saw a repeat loop. Repeat loop will be of two types. One is the entry control loop, second is exit control loop. So into the entry control loop, you saw that you are having the condition at the start of the program, and if you wanted to just create a exit control loop, at that time you need to specify the condition at the last of the or the first of the program in this way. Okay, so this is the general syntax for loop, and you saw this is the general syntax of the while loop, and this is the general syntax of the repeat loop for exit control loop, and this is nothing but a repeat loop as a entry control loop. Okay, so with this, anyone have any doubt, any question before moving to the actual programming part? Anyone, or everything is clear to everyone? Perfect. Thanks. Thank Neri for the confirmation. Let me write the code. Okay, let me start writing the code, and we'll tell you in details that how we will perform our kind of a loop in our R programming task. Okay, so I'm just sharing my screen. Please confirm once my screen is visible to everyone. Okay, yeah, I hope it is visible too. Okay, so perfect. So let me start, and firstly I will tell you about for loop. Okay, so I'll tell you about for loop. So before starting the program, as usual, I will write here the syntax like rm list is equal to ls. Okay, this will create the variables here completely nil. Okay, and in the console window also so much details are there, so I will clean those things as well. So I will write the code over here. Now I will write the syntax for loop. So for the for loop, you saw here in general, if you see, the hint is also coming. So if I will type it, it will just tell me that here you will have some value, then in, then you will have second vector, right. So here you are having the iterator. Okay, iterator in iteration. Okay, iterator in iteration, then you need to have some output. Okay, maybe print, or maybe whatever the operation you wanted to replicate, you can replicate it over here. Like for example, I wanted to write it hello world. Okay, hello world. So how many iterations you wanted to iterate? Okay, you need to specify it over here. So this is general syntax for loop, right. So how you will implement into the programming? Okay, so let suppose the question is that suppose the question is write or print your name 10 times. Okay, so this is the question. Okay, you need to solve this question. So how you will how you can solve this particular question? So there are multiple ways are there. So like for example, as the method you know up to this knowledge is, so like for example, your name. Okay, you will write this particular line of code how many times? 10 times. Okay, just to answer this particular question, you need to write this particular code 10 times. Okay, in this way you will able to get your name 10 times. Okay, so this is the way. But here what you are seeing that the code redundancy is coming. Okay, so what the meaning of code redundancy? It means that you are just writing the code multiple times. Print is replicating 10 times. Okay, you need to specify the print function multiple times, right? So this is code redundancy. Just to solve this code redundancy, you know that since here you need to replicate the same thing multiple times, you have a function in the R which is called as loop, and you can apply it since 20 iteration number of iteration is fixed. So you came to the knowledge that you should to apply a loop which is fixed iteration, right? So I will iterate the loop in this way, like for I in 1 to 10. Okay, so I will write it over here this way, sorry, in this way, and I will apply the print and your name, right? So if I will run it in this way, see here, so your name is replicating 10 times. See here, automatically all names is being repeated 10 times, right? Similarly, you can increase the number of iterations, maybe you can make it 20. So you will see that the your name is replicated 20 times. Okay, maybe you can make it 200 times. Okay, so it will replicate all name your 200 times. Okay, so this is the beauty of for loop. So in the for loop, you have seen that when you are having number of iterations are fixed, at that time you will apply the fixed iteration loop, right? And fixed iteration loop can be done using the for loop. Okay, now let me solve another question. So another question, let's suppose write the table of maybe 2. Okay, or maybe 15. Okay, I wanted to write the table of 15. So you know that in the 15 table, what is the values are 15 to the 30. Okay, 15 3 is 45. Okay, 15 4 is 60. Okay, in that way, so okay, so all values are coming. Okay, so this is the general answer I wanted to get. So here we know that in the 15 table of 15, okay, the first value is 15 and the last value is 150, right? So since iterations are fixed here, so iteration is nothing but 15 10 15 10 ja 150. So here we need to perform the operation 10 times, and every time we need to multiply the number of times the iteration is. So like for example, the first value 15, the second value 15 multiplied by 2, like for example in this way, 15 into 1, second times 15 into 2, third times 15 into 3, similarly 15 into 4, right? So in this way you need to get the answer, right? In this way you need to get the answer. What you are seeing here, this is fixed. Okay, this part is fixed. Okay, only this part is dynamic. Okay, this part is dynamic and it is changing up to every time. Okay, how many times it will change itself? By 15 10. Okay, so it will change 10 times, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10, right? So here, since the same thing is replicating 10 times, it means that we need to perform over here as a fixed iteration loop. Okay, so let me write a fixed iteration loop over here for this particular problem. So I will write here I, okay, I in 1 to 10. Okay, I in 1 to 10, and what I will write it over here, print, or maybe I will write here the cat. I can write anything. Okay, maybe I can write here the cat, and in the cat I will write 15 into I. Okay, and I will write slash n. Okay, slash n basically a new line. So 15 table will come. Here I will write table such that 25, right? So I will write in this way, and you can see 15 15 to the 30, 13 15 3 is 45. Okay, 15 4 is 60, 75, 90, 105, 120, 135 and 150. So in that way you can write the table of 15. Okay, so similarly you have multiple situations in the data analysis activities when you need to replicate the process at a multiple times. Okay, or you can say a fixed number of times, then you will perform the fixed iteration loop, and this is the this purpose is served by the for loop. Okay, now coming to the second type of loop. So second type of loop is basically a while loop. Okay, so while loop is basically kind of a not a fixed. This is dynamic control dynamic iteration loop. So in this type of loop, basically iterations are not fixed, it will dynamically iterate. Okay, when the condition will be met, then only this loop will be truncate, otherwise this loop will be move ahead continuously. Okay, so like for example, uh, then only vote. Okay, so here let's suppose we are having thousand persons. Okay, let's suppose 1,000 persons are there. Okay, and every time, okay, and every time kind of it is checking the condition that every person is, if every person is of age 18 year, then only this person will able to cast their vote, right? So in this type of situations, okay, how many people are there, you don't know that every person is able to do the vote. Okay, I'm not knowing that how many people are there, those people will cast their vote, right? So here the iterations are not fixed, right? So what I will do over here, okay, so we will have a variable. Okay, let's suppose I have a data set like var1. Okay, and here we are having the data like for example maybe 15, maybe 18, maybe 18, maybe 19, maybe 23, maybe 24, maybe 12 year. Okay, maybe 18 year, 17 year, maybe 16 year, maybe 10 year, maybe 20, maybe 30, maybe 30. Okay, maybe 67. Okay, maybe 12 year, maybe 16 year. Okay, you see whatever the peoples are there. Okay, so this is the data I do have, and I need to check whether the person will able to cast their vote or not. Okay, so among those peoples, okay, so let's suppose this the list is so much. Okay, I don't know that how many peoples are able to cast their vote. So in this situation we are not able to perform the fixed iteration loop. So in this situation we need to perform a dynamic control loop. Okay, so how we will perform this particular loop is, so I will write the iterator over here, I is equal to 1. Okay, so this is basic initial iterator. Okay, so like for example here iterator was I simply, but here iterator will be specified as I is equal to 1. Okay, so how I will write it over here. So while, okay, while uh, var1 of I, okay, is equal to uh, greater than 18. Okay, greater than 18 or greater or equal 18, right? Then print, or you can say cat person is eligible for voting. Okay, so in this way, otherwise, okay, otherwise this person is not eligible, right? Otherwise this person will not eligible, right? So how I will write these things, right? So let me, and we need to write the incrementer or decrementer I is equal to I plus 1. Okay, so you need to increase the loop. So initially it will take the value as I is equal to 1, and after that it will check the condition. If the condition will be met, then it will enter into this and it will write this particular statement. Then it will make I is equal to I plus 2, I plus 1. It will again move ahead to this. This will check the condition, and if the condition is 2, then it will again enter into this. Okay, it will similarly, it will increase multiple times and it will take the condition, and if the condition will be true, then it will replicate this particular task. Okay, so let me check how many people are able to vote. Okay, so var1 So we need to check how many times it is basically replicating, and divide is not printing. We need to check it. Where one I is equal to 1. Okay, so I guess something is wrong with this. Okay, I guess something is wrong. That is not printing. Okay, print file where one and is position value is 1, 15 greater than 15. Okay. Since you saw here this condition is broken. Okay, so like for example here I will make it 25. Okay, see here, right? So this loop is kind of at least entering over here, like how many people are forward. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 7 and 8 9 10 people are able to vote, right? And how one no greater or equal to 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8 9 and 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, so it means that it will break the loop, okay, when the condition will automatically not meet. So for example 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and in this point, okay, this condition is not meeting. It means that uh, before this particular condition, okay, before this particular condition, every person is eligible for casting their vote. Okay, maybe I can create a new program. Okay, this will able to understand you perfectly. So like for example you are writing a factorial. Okay, you know that factorial. So factorial is basically like for example you are writing factorial 5. Okay, you need to write the factorial 5. So factorial 5 is basically written as, like factorial 5 is written as 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. In that way you need to write it over here. Okay, so how you will write the code of factorial is, so you need to specify n is equal to 5. Okay, you need to write the n is equal to 5. Then you need to specify fact is equal to, you need to write fact is equal to 1. Okay, and you need to specify I is equal to 1 over here. So you need to write here while I less or equal n. Okay, so in that we need to write it, and here fact is equal to fact into I, fact into I. Okay, and you need to close it and move ahead with, yeah, I is equal to I plus 1, and here maybe cat factorial of 5 is fact. Okay, so let me check. So firstly I took and give n is equal to 5, fact is equal to 1, I is equal to 1, and while is equal to this. So if I'll write it over here, right? So oh sorry, fact should be outside of this particular program. Okay, so you can see here factorial of 5 is 120, and you can see using the command as well. So like for example factorial okay, factorial of 5, right? So it will give 120. It means that what the program I had written, this program is giving me right answer. Okay, so this is the details about while loop. Now coming to the third type of loop, which is called as repeat loop. So as I tell, okay, repeat loop is basically performed in this way. Firstly, you need to write it over here if condition, and with this if condition you need to apply a break. Okay, if this break will be applied, then you will write some operations or statements. Okay, so this is nothing but called as entry control loop. So it is controlling the loop at the entry of this particular program, right? Similarly, if you can able to perform some operation first, then you will go for the checking, then this is called as exit control loop. So this loop is called as entry control loop, and this loop is called as exit control loop, right? So what the problem, how we can solve this particular problem? So like for example, uh, how you will perform the entry control loop now, right? So we will have initially we will specify a variable, like for example I is equal to 1. Okay, and you need to write here the repeat, right? Repeat loop, and you will apply the thing over here, and you can print the value, print I, print I, and I is equal to I plus 1, I plus 1 every time. Okay, and if I uh, is equal to or maybe greater than 4, okay, I is equal to greater than 4, then come to break. Okay, it means that this loop will be run at least 4 times. Okay, at least 4 times. Okay, then it will automatically break and it will print 4. See here, sorry, 5 times. So it will firstly it will come I is equal to 1, it will print it, so 1 is coming. It will increase the loop, like I is equal to I plus 1, it will make it 2. Okay, now it will make, it is printing 2, then it will again move ahead and make it I is equal to 3. Similarly, it will once it will make I is equal to 5. Okay, so 5 will be printed. Okay, and the 5 will be tested. If the 5 will become over here, then automatically this loop will be broken and this will be come out of this particular loop. Okay, so this is called as entry control loop, exit control loop. Now you can check these conditions first. Okay, so like for example you can check this condition first in this way, and you can control the loop in this way. So here firstly it will check, like see the answer here 1 2 3 4 5 is printing. Now I will again start it and see here 1 2 3 4 5 is also printing. Here if I will write here I is equal to 1, and okay, see here 2 3 4 5 is coming, 1 is not coming. So why 1 is not coming? Because 1 is not entering into this, it is directly increasing the loop by 1. Okay, and this is checking the condition that if loop will be greater than 5, then loop will be broken. Okay, so this loop will be broken after giving the output as 5. So here the condition is implemented at the start of this particular loop, and here you saw the condition was implemented at the last of the program. Okay, so this is called as exit control loop. So you saw here there are 3 types of loops are there, and they are different purposes. The first loop is for loop, and for loop is used for the fixed iteration setup. Then you saw while loop. While loop is working for endless, like how many times iterations are replicate, you are not sure about that. At that time you will use the while loop. Okay, after that you will use the repeat loop. Repeat loop is used for entry control loop and exit control loop. Okay, so this is all about today's session. So I hope it is clear to everyone, but for sure if anyone have any doubt,